All right, everybody. Welcome to the Stiff Truth. I am Scott Castelnova, and with me on the other side here, Mr. Bob West. How we doing, Bob?
I'm doing pretty good. Good to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you. And I want to tell you first and foremost, Bob, the lighting, is it the lighting or is it just your skin? It looks phenomenal today.
I have my CoverGirl glow on because I had a mask yesterday and maybe a little bit of exfoliating.
Okay. So you took care of you just take care of yourself.
No,
That's good.
it's just like a bar of Irish spray, some face wash. So, but
Well, that doesn't sound. Write that down, kids. If you want skin like Bob, a bar of Irish Spring, not a big deal.
There's no movie magic in this one. It's drink your water, kids.
Oh, my goodness. Well, hey, again, Bob, this is episode number three, and right out of the gate, I do want to thank everybody for listening and subscribing and following us. We've had a lot of traction. I think we've doubled our listenership just this week, which again, starting from zeros, doesn't sound very impressive, but I'm pretty happy with it. Bob, what about you?
Yeah, and it's been more than doubled. In all of the numbers combined, it looks like we've had about 400 people listen to the show so far in the last couple of weeks. So, we really appreciate everyone's time. We know that we're all busy. So again, sincerely, thank you for listening to us spout our nonsense.
Yes. And if you haven't already, if you're enjoying what you're hearing, please, most importantly, go to Apple Podcasts and rate us and subscribe. That's very, very important to us right now. Well, all the other bullshits are important too, but for some reason I felt like mentioning that.
Right, and of course on the same line of thought, we're also on YouTube so that we can, display these lovely mugs that you're seeing right now if you're joining us on YouTube. And of course, it's always about liking and subscribing. Please leave us a comment if there's something that's really irking you. We love to hear back from everyone. So. Again, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify. You know the drill, guys. Whatever medium that you're listening on, give us the gamut. Give us the thumbs up, however that's going to be done.
And I got to give you a disclaimer. I love what you said about leaving comments and feedback, but I will tell you that we'll take those comments and feedback with a grain of salt. And if we even take them seriously is really unknown. So, see what happens, comment, give us feedback, and, whatever.
Yeah, and so Scott's laughing over here because I have some notes up on my screen, but my screen is actually a TV on the wall. So if you catch me looking way over there, off into the distance, I'm not just pondering. I'm really just kind of checking out some notes that we have written down for today.
Yeah, Bob, he's practicing with his teleprompter.
Believe it or not, folks, this is actually a planned show. I know it's very amateur hour when we get together, and it seems very, very off the cuff. But this is really a planned show, and in fact, we have a huge announcement for everyone coming up at the end of the show. It's very exciting. I can't wait to inform everyone. I've been wanting to tell everyone for weeks, but it's all about picking the right timing. So please stay tuned to the end of the show to hear this huge announcement. It does involve our listeners.
There's a huge announcement?
Wow, you okay over there?
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So maybe the planning was done on my end.
Yeah, no, definitely stay tuned, everybody. I don't even know what's going on. No, I'm just kidding, of course. I'm very excited about the announcement. I want to get to the end of the show. I can't even talk. I want to get to the end of the show. Here we go. The end of the show so quickly. The arsonist has very oddly shaped feet. Okay, now I'm ready to go. That I can barely contain my excitement for the end of the show, Bob.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It is very exciting. And also, we have a very special Stiff Truth today that we've been wanting to dig into for, several weeks now. But we thought that today's show would be good. And hopefully it's not politics. I think we've spouted enough about that. But I'm not going to let you in because maybe it is.
That's interesting. Yeah, but you're right, Bob. I think this is something that personally I'm very passionate about. And this is one that I've been looking forward to. So can't wait to talk about that or have that stiff cocktail or a little bit later in the show too.
Yeah, we're starting a little late today, so the stiff drinks I'm really anticipating the stiff drink. We have a very special stiff drink in light of today's climate, world climate. Is that the right way to phrase that? Or?
Sure. Yeah, I guess you could. I guess that would work for.
It's a very on-topic stiff drink of the day.
No, I agree. We're gonna dive into that here pretty soon, by the way, too. But I mean, Bob, what do you want to talk about? Let's talk about something. This is a podcast. We probably should do a little bit more talking.
Well, I think that we have to mention, what's going on with the Tecate virus.
Oh God, the Modelo virus is horrible right now. Let me tell you what, man. I don't know, man. Well, I mean, what do you want to talk about? I mean, there's just so many different ways we could talk about this right now. We don't want to talk about the conspiracy of it being created in a lab, a potential bioweapon, or do you want to talk about how it affects Americans, or how we're just now getting the first cases in America that are like popping up, or maybe you want to talk about how it's maybe not as bad of a disease as some that we've faced in recent history? I don't know. What do you think?
Like, what kind of recent history? Are we talking like chlamydia, or are we talking like the flu from last year?
Well, we're talking SARS. We're talking Ebola. We're talking that kind of stuff.
Yes. We could start there. It's definitely no Ebola, right?
No.
Right now, the mortality rate from the last I saw was 2%. Which, for those of you that may not know, the mortality actually means the death rate.
Thank you for that, Bob. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
The more you know.
So, and 2% really tells me, like, well, what are we looking at on the 2%, right? Are we looking at like a healthy, 28-year-old person that has like a normal immune system that got this thing and it's just like 2 out of every 100 die? Because it's very misleading. Or are we looking at like the people with immune systems? So I don't have the stats there to say overall the population, what's the percentage of people that have lowered immune system. But if I was a betting man, I would bet it's around 2%.
You know what I love? 2% milk. Just totally random. When you started saying 2%, the only thing I think about is like, well, it's a little less creamy, but it's a little less fat. I think it's like like the Three Bears happy medium. It's just right. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. My wife won't let me drink it anymore.
Oh my God!
So.
I wish I had the soundboard right now because the whip would be coming out hardcore, buddy.
We'll get there. That's a work in progress. We'll have it refined over the next few episodes, so bear with us. We do have lives that we live outside of this.
Barely.
So, yeah, what do you think about that, though, as far as the 2% goes and as far as the mortality rate? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. There's obviously a lot. I mean, we can't really avoid talking about the coronavirus, but some key things that I've learned recently, which I think are very enlightening here and kind of put things in perspective. And first of all, one thing I do have to disclaim, I'm not downplaying the seriousness of this disease being able to spread and turn into something that could be a global pandemic. Let's just say that right out of the gate. It is something that obviously raises concern. With that being said, I learned some key things. One, that almost everybody in the entire world, Bob, has had a form of the coronavirus, because the coronavirus is simply a new strain of the common cold. Now, with that being said, the common cold used to kill a lot of fucking people before we came out with medications that could easily just knock it out. However, that's the first thing, right? So I was like, that's interesting. Okay, so basically it's a new strain of the common cold. Now, it could mutate more and, get worse or what have you, but that's kind of where it's at right now. The other thing that I learned that was very interesting is usually with these kind of things, children and the elderly are the first to go, right? With these kind of deadly diseases. We'll take Ebola. We even take even the HIV, in the 80s and everything like that. I mean, unless it was, blood transfusion, drug use related or anal sex related or something like that, those were usually the easy pickings, right? Now, you could fact check me on this. Maybe I'm wrong, but from what I understand too, there has been 0 fatalities pediatrically with the coronavirus. 0. And there's actually been a minimal amount. I think the percentage of the overall infected is less than 10%, I think is what I heard, for anybody under the age of 16 that actually even has it, right?
There are a lot of stats out there. It just makes me think that this is going to be a nightmare to fact check. But please continue.
Yeah, no, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to recall with my photographic memory that the lens is a little bit old on it. So please,
it's a little bit scratched. I dropped it a few times, face first on the ground. So
now, I do remember this stat. The other thing that was very, very, very enlightening to me, especially with how the media, well, let's just face it, they're spinning this as just doom and gloom all over the place. And if you get coronavirus, you're dead. I mean, that's what it seems like unless you really pay attention for a minute. The other thing is, out of everybody infected, 82% of the cases are what they considered mild cases. And what that really meant is not life-threatening and treatable. So interesting enough that 82% of the people that are infected are considered mild cases. That kind of blew me away, that stat. And you can fucking fact check that one.
I've heard it compared to the flu. Trump himself compared it to the flu. Well, it's not so dangerous because, we'll lose something around, 20, 25,000 people just in America every year with the flu, right?
Sure.
Because some people just can't handle that with their own immune systems or whatever. But I do want to point out that there is it's a little bit more than that, because the flu's the devil we know, right? We know about the flu. We know what's going to happen. We know that in April or whatever, the flu will die out and we won't see it again until the fall again. And
it's almost like football season. It's kind of sad, isn't it?
But with the coronavirus, it is a little bit differently, is that we don't really know a whole lot about it, but I do think that it is blown out of proportion a little bit, because I don't have enough stats and facts and numbers for me to be terrified of what's happening here. Yes, did I have to order respirators? Yeah, I did, because my wife made me.
Another.
I really didn't want to, but I did it anyway, because happy wife, happy life.
Bob, who knows when you're not going to be just kind of hanging out at the house one Saturday afternoon and you want to have a family, meth cook-off, right? So the respirator masks are actually very helpful.
Well, that and, the next time that, mustard gas is coming through the neighborhood, we're ready.
Well, the Germans are always still bringing that stuff out, aren't they?
So I got that going for me. From a prepper aspect, I guess it's better to have them than not. And I next time I'm spraying pesticides on my backyard full of sand. In Mexico, we don't have grass, folks. So next time I'm spraying pesticides and chemicals in my backyard of sand, I will be readily prepared for that.
You have a completely zero-scape lawn with just sand and fucking rocks and shit. You're out there blowing pesticides. Love it. That's great. It's a great scene, Bob.
Well,
and you're doing that. And you're doing that in your Stiff Truth T-shirt, right?
Of course, I've got to represent.
And your little bicycle shorts.
Well, I mean, it was like leopard-skinned bikini briefs, but
Oh shit!
However we roll, right? To each their own.
Very nice, Bob. Very nice.
So, what else about the coronavirus do you want to talk about?
I'm so sorry. And again, for people that aren't watching YouTube right now, Bob just went ahead and I think he asked God what we're going to talk about next. And God said, "Keep it going, boys."
I don't think that we're done with the coronavirus yet.
No.
So in the last week, the coronavirus, of course, has become the next political tool from the left and the right about who's spreading the conspiracy theory and who's trying to get out there first. So now, once I'm pretty sure it was Trump that laid it out first, that said, "Hey, the Dems are using this to ruin the economy and ruin my chances of re-election, because that's what I'm really campaigning on." And
fucking Democrats.
And then the left is saying, well, you're not preparing, and then you're putting, Pence inside in charge of the coronavirus protection rate, which is, honestly, if I want someone to really care for a spread of a disease, I probably really don't prefer someone that's going to be like, everyone's dying. It's just God's will.
Yeah, well, I do gotta say something about the just again the and it's kind of interesting on how they're like, I can't believe they put Mike Pence in charge of this when he was literally responsible for an HIV outbreak. I was like, well, not necessarily. He's just
let's rephrase that. I'm going to have to call phrasing on this.
Okay.
He wasn't responsible for the HIV outbreak. It makes you sound like he was hanging out like the gay bars, like really going to town. He wasn't responsible. He was overseeing his state during an outbreak. So let's just make sure that's clear.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, 100%. I mean, I don't know what Pence does in his spare time, and I know that we'll probably need to fact check his gay bar, escapades. But beyond that, really what it all broke down to, and why, again, they're like, oh, God, this guy's responsible for this, this outbreak in HIV. It really just boiled down to that he does not believe in the needle exchange program, which, again, is something, if anybody's not familiar, if you don't have it in your state, I think it's a fabulous idea.
Which would be me. Please explain.
Yes. They do have one in New Mexico. It's for people that use intravenous drugs, so they use needles, and it's a way for them to go exchange their dirty used needles for clean new ones. Yeah. Now, Pence thinks that is a wrong thing because what he believes is that is perpetuating and basically okaying the drug use that he obviously deems as non-Christian and immoral. However, what it does do is it really helps stop the spread of diseases like hepatitis B and C and HIV and overdose, not hitting your vein right and fucking, creating a big cyst on your arm where you might have to get your arm fucking cut off like on Requiem for a Dream. I mean, there's a lot of positive things about a needle exchange outside of it, which I honestly don't think it does promote drug use, because one thing that I can tell you, it's a very valuable program to stop the spread of these silly diseases, so that's really what Pence ran into. Is he's like, no, I don't believe that shit. And of course, look what happened.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that, because me, personally, I didn't really know what the details were about Pence and kind of where that all stemmed from. So I'm sure some of our viewers are probably, or listeners are probably enlightened also. So yeah, thanks for breaking that down for me. Didn't really know. Having said that, I think I'm probably on the, proponent side of the needle exchange myself, because I think that's probably a smart thing to do in your community. Moving on from that, what do you think just genuinely about, or generally about the coronavirus just being politicized at all?
Jesus. Well, I mean, it makes sense that it's going to happen, dude. I mean, it's very sad that it's happening this way, but let's just face it. The economy, like you had mentioned, is the only thing that really Trump can say, hey, look, this is something that's my baby. I'm going to go ahead and campaign on how strong the economy is. Every American loves that, blah, 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 blah. Now it's tanking. Is it his fault? No. It's definitely the stock market scare right now that's causing people to sell off everything and to tank. I think the Dow had the biggest drop in history on Friday. But regardless, it has nothing to do with any kind of policies or economic things right now. However, you can see it happening from both ends here. What's going to happen is, the economy is going to start tanking. The Dems have already started to kind of, campaign on that. I don't think they're going to point straight at the coronavirus and link it together, but they're going to say that, look, Trump's, kind of whatever you want to call it, his outlier economy highs over the past few years over. You know what I mean? It was just a flash in the pan. It's over. Now things are falling back into place. We told you this would happen when you deregulated stuff and did this and that or whatever. And now look, it's tanking. And a lot of Americans, unfortunately, as both you and I know, are not going to be smart enough, unfortunately, to put two and two together that this is actually a direct correlation from a lot of shit being made in China, a lot of people not buying stuff from China anymore right now, or things like that. And at the end of the day, they're going to go ahead and point that at a politician. They're not going to really redirect and understand why it's happening, I don't think.
Well, yeah, and I'm kind of on the same line as that. I think it's despicable to take a health issue like this, especially a global one, and politicize it in any way, because what you're doing is you're directly targeting the less informed population of America that's not going to take the time or care about what the root cause is and really dig into things. They're just going to say. So the Democrats are going to say, the economy. Look at what the economy is doing. It hasn't tanked this bad since 2008. And the Republicans are going to be like, the Democrats are spreading all this propaganda about the economy, trying to ruin us. It's very manipulative, and it's really sad to see that that's the state of our country anymore. We can't just say, hey, we've got an issue here, we need to fix this. I mean, everyone is suffering except 3M, baby.
That's right.
Buy now, guys. Buy now.
Buy now. All your respirator masks, their stock actually is the only one that went up probably.
Oh no, 3M's killing it right now. So 3M got with Russia. They went ahead and planted this in China, right? Because they're like,
makes sense.
Where am I going to propagate this the best? Who has the worst health care? Who has the most people?
Now, honestly, too, what do you think here? I mean, do you really think that Trump is downplaying the threat of the virus to protect the economy and his image in front of the economy right now? Or do you think maybe he's downplaying it a little bit so people don't freak the fuck out here in America?
Well, I personally do think he's downplaying it for the economy. He doesn't understand that he should be downplaying it for the right for Americans in general, and that's the thing he should be doing. I think he's more worried about his campaign and the economy. The other benefit of that is just, I think, a happy byproduct that's coming out of this. But yeah, I don't know. I'd love to say that, he's very calculating and thoughtful, but I truly don't believe that myself. So I think this really is all about the economy for him.
Is my mic working, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. For a minute there, it was unplugged somehow, and I was using the one on my computer. I don't even know if you could hear the difference.
Oh, you sound much better now. So
okay.
Everyone thanks you.
All right. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right. We'll condense this later. We'll try to level all that out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's...
Sorry. It's not going to get old. It's not going to get old, Bob. I was like, so anyway.
I need to put this thing like right here. So then I'm just like, tell me about my notes, everyone.
Now you're looking like you're waiting for some golden showers or something like
that. That's right. Speaking of golden showers, man.
Oh, I don't know how that was a transition, but let's go with it.
so not necessarily golden in general, but you ever get yelled at by your wife and you're like, why is there pee all over the back of the toilet? And you're like, I don't know, fucking kids, right?
Yeah, these kids.
She's like, but it was in our bathroom.
Yeah. It's like, and we have a daughter.
It wasn't downstairs. What are you talking about?
Uh-oh.
So, just like the surprise of the morning after, you're half asleep, maybe hungover, you had a good night with your significant other, and you go in there to put a hand up on the wall and really kind of get in there to let one go, and you don't notice that, your stream has now gone awry until you hear an odd sound that doesn't sound like the typical splattering of the toilet water.
It sounds almost like a splash in the pan, doesn't it? A little bit of, what the hell is that? Yeah. Yes. Oh boy, that's a tough one, bro, because, I think I got pretty good aim, but there's definitely some unpredictability to my stream sometimes. After an evening with my significant other is definitely an easy, but you know what? As I get older, Bob, sometimes just weird things happen beyond that too. I don't know about you, but there's been a few times where, I've got some nice free flowing. It's free flowing. It's feeling good. Right. And then I'm done. At least I think I'm done. I shake, I give it a few shakes. Right. And then,
not too many. Not too many.
Not too many. I don't want to spray all over my pants, but I give it a couple shakes. Everything's good to go. I put my junk back in my pants, and then I pee my pants a little bit. That's happened to me before. Has that ever happened to you? What the fuck is that?
Well, I will tell you what. I've done the same thing where I've been at work and I've been wearing khakis.
Oh God!
Yeah. And you get it all done. You think you're good, and then you go ahead and throw it back in there, and you zip it up, and then you go to wash your hands, and you're just like, huh, I'll just say that was like from me washing my hands, I guess. There's no hiding it in khakis. It's like you put a little bit more on there from the water and just kind of like shake your hands on it so it looks a little more realistic.
Oh man, it's funny. I've been guilty of that 100%. A couple of nights, maybe out dinner on a date, long time ago. Get a dribble on you. You're like, fuck. Just turn on the sink, splash a little on you. It's like fucking sink in there was too. The PSI was ridiculous. I don't know what's going on. No, that's not yellow.
I've been doing this for close to 40 years now, and you think you get the hang of it, but there's always a little surprise. You're never quite prepared for it. So it's good to have an auxiliary plan.
And it's almost too like when you shake, you think you're done, and then you put your junk back in your pants, and then your prostate pulls that little joke on you. It's almost like he's clenching up. He's like, hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay, now let it go.
Reminds me of that scene from Grown Ups. I think it was Grown Ups 2, where they're on the boat, right? And he's like whizzing off the side of the boat, and it just like it never ends. It's just like little trinklets at the end.
Oh, I love that. I don't know if I've seen Grown Ups 2, to be honest with you. I saw the first one, and I was like, boy, this is a fun movie for these guys. I'm not exactly sure it was just a dynamic film, but to think all these old guys from SNL just getting together and making fun of each other for about 3 hours, or 2-3 hours, right? And then editing out. That's pretty much what it was, which I thought was great.
Yeah, no, it's a good film. My son and I like to watch it. He's a teenager, so.
Oh. God bless you.
Dick and fart jokes. So,
I'm sorry, Bob. I don't mean to make fun of you, man, but here, let me just help you out a little bit here, bud, because I do have our notes actually right in front of me on my screen over here, so I can kind of see them real quick. I go like this. Give it a little quick one here. But no, in all seriousness, I want to talk to you. I know we don't want to beat up politics too much. And everybody, first of all, too, a little disclaimer here. It's really hard not to talk about politics when literally everything in the world right now is politics. I mean, Jesus Christ, even the coronavirus that we're talking about is being politicized. I mean, everything is politics right now. So we're trying real hard to get away from it. But one thing is it's just in our face all the time, 24/7. And then the other thing is it's fucking entertaining. Like, for instance, I thought if you think back all the way back to 2000, Bobby, I thought that Al Gore had made the most outrageous claim ever, right? And that was his involvement.
Did he claim to have invented the question mark?
Well, he would make outrageous claims like that sometimes. And I believe his mother was a French prostitute named Chloe with webbed feet. However,
we'll have to fact check that.
I really don't know. Yeah, but with him, obviously, he's still getting shit for it now about how when he said, I think it was taken slightly out of context, but that he invented the internet, right? So obviously he did not invent the internet. I think he may have signed something that eventually gave way to the internet becoming mainstream. Bob, maybe you can help me out with this one. You're a techie nerd.
We're gonna have to fact check that one. I want to say he was on like a Senate panel that helped like move DARPANet into the internet or something. But we'll fact check that and find out the real truth in that, the stiff truth on that, and we'll go ahead and put that in the comment section of the YouTube video. So along with all of our other fact check articles and things that we're trying to reference. So
yes. Oh, and that's another thing too, everybody. I will tell you, I love the feedback. I'm not sure how valuable feedback is, let's say in our last episode when we were talking about George W. Bush. When we're talking about being in the Army Reserves or the Coast Guard and correcting that, what do you think, Bob? Is that a little ticky-tacky, or do we really have to be that spot on with our fact checks?
Well, we're not a part of the Associated Press, and we don't claim to be experts.
No, we do not. We're far from it.
in fact, I think that's why a lot of our listeners find us refreshing to listen to, is because we're just kind of a couple of normal guys that want to talk about some of these important topics. And, we're not going to be 100% everyone, so please don't come to us for your source of news. We like to bring up topics for topics of conversations. We don't want to be your source of news to go donate to whatever political action committee that comes off of our podcast. So, take everything that we say with a fistful of grains of salt.
Ooh, a fist. I like that.
Fistful.
All right. I don't know why that was funny to me, but that's just because fisting to me is comical. However, with that being said, There's somebody new that is now taking the cake for making outrageous claims, and I'm not even quite sure he knows he's doing it. But Mr. Joe Biden, I don't know if you've seen him recently in the last debate, or just in almost every debate, and every single town hall meeting, and every single interview he's had. This guy has been a part of everything. He's a very, very busy man. Apparently, he's written a lot of laws. He started drug court. I don't know. I mean, have you seen some of this of what I'm talking about here? He's a little unhinged.
Yeah, I have. I mean, it stems from was it the Nevada debate? I think it was the Nevada debate, where he basically interrupted everyone to tell them that he had written every bill that was considered positive or popular within the last, I don't know, how long has he been a politician? 50 years?
Yeah, 49 years. Talk about some of the specific things that I don't think a lot of people know that Joe Biden was either responsible for or had a huge hand in the development of some of these great, great achievements of mankind. First of all, the Declaration of Human Rights. That was a really big one. It actually started in July 4th, 1776. I don't know if you're familiar with that date at all, but he was a big part of that. He was one of the original signers of the Constitution.
I once heard about that, and I also believe that he was back there to teach Aristotle some of the teachings from Plato.
Dude, he was his mentor. Let's not cloud it up here. I mean, he was his direct mentor. But beyond that, too, do you remember when he formed the United Nations? That was pretty impressive, too.
I wasn't quite alive then, but maybe my grandmother does.
I'll tell you what. I mean, you guys, about the iconic smirk on the Mona Lisa? Well, Joe's responsible for that, too. He literally just got done railing her right before that shot. That's why she has that smile on her face, man.
You know, I once heard that Joe Biden was holding the picture of Da Vinci drawing his little four-armed man.
Yeah, absolutely. And believe it or not, you know how there's like all kinds of debate on who William Shakespeare really is. Is it a pen name? It's Joe Biden. Okay. I'm not going to lie to you about that one. That one he's been trying to keep secret for a while, but I just let that one out of the bag. I'm sorry about that one, Joe, but it had to happen. Now, I do remember him, too, signing a bill, I believe back in the early 1800s, that really started railways and the steam trains, too. That was pretty impressive. Do you remember that?
No, but I do remember him ending the War of 1812. So
single-handedly. I think he got out there with a musket and just dropped everybody with the butt of his shotgun.
It wasn't even a musket. He was all camoed up with like a buck knife in his teeth, jumping out of trees.
Of course he was. In fact, the reason why he wants to put his stamp on that one so much is he actually stopped that war with no weapons at all. Just his diplomacy.
Just diplomacy and his bare hands.
Well, one of the biggest things that he did, and this is a little bit more recent history, but there used to be a huge epidemic with smallpox, with things like that. I mean, he was the first one to develop vaccines.
He was also the first carrier to get over the Spanish flu that created the vaccine off of that.
That's right. And I don't know if you knew this about Joe, too, but he's quite a man, not only around the kitchen, but engineering and mechanically, too, because he actually developed the Apollo space shuttle, and he's actually really responsible for putting man on the moon.
Oh, good. So did he mentor Elon Musk?
Well, I mean,
we'll have to fact check that.
I believe Elon Musk learned everything he knows from Joe Biden's.
Elon needs to get on to give us an interview so that we can talk about his early days with Joe Biden and how he broke free of that mentorship.
I'll tell you what, man. I mean, this guy, he's just all around the boards, man. I don't remember anything too crazy beyond the fall of the Berlin Wall. I believe Reagan and his administration wants to take credit for that. But I think Joe Biden was in the background, and he actually signed the bill that I think ordered the very first bulldozer. I think that's what it was.
I think he was over there manning the tractor that guided the wrecking ball.
Exactly. They needed somebody not only with diplomacy and that kind of experience, but how to operate that kind of heavy machinery. Yeah. As we both know, he's also the co-founder of John Deere.
Yeah, he also was ghostwriting for the Wright brothers when they made their biplane. So he actually signed the patent for their business, but he's the third inventor that was left off the books because he didn't want to take credit.
Didn't he test pilot their first prototype and crash landed but lived? I think he did.
That was probably Joe Biden. I mean, if you were to ask him, he would tell you it was.
Wait, hold on. Was it successful? Oh, fuck yeah, I did that.
Well, thank you, Joe. You've done a great service for this country.
Oh,
You've
my
really
God.
contributed to the world and the American culture as we know it today. I don't know where we would be without you, except
honestly,
for, you know,
I just had a
with
light
less
bulb too.
lives.
Yeah, I just had a light bulb too, Bob. I mean, I think Pence was the wrong person to put in charge of the outbreak here because we all know the only person that has the experience and that can really destroy an epidemic like this is Joe Biden.
It doesn't matter. In a few years, Joe Biden will have done it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he'll take somehow he'll find a way to take credit for it.
I do. He's trying to take a lot of credit, but you know, if he's going to take credit for the things that he's done or the things that he's voted for, voting for something doesn't like give you credit for doing something. Like, I voted for Barack Obama. I don't take credit for the fucking healthcare system. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you spearhead an effort and you're like the one leading up, like Bernie has written the law for, you know, the new healthcare system or whatever that he's trying to propose, right? He wrote it with a couple of other senators, whatever, and it's there.
Free healthcare for everyone.
Right. It's there. It exists. He actually wrote it. So if it ever goes into effect, like he would say, yeah, whether he was president or not, and he was just part of the Senate that, you know, got that done, then he could take a lot of credit. But I mean, if you just vote or not for something, that it doesn't give you credit. I mean, that is the biggest like coattail thing I've like ever heard of in politics.
This is the coattail rider, man. He's like surfing on coattails right now because literally in all the debates you've seen, Nevada, it doesn't matter. Every single one. I couldn't remember who he interrupted, but they were talking about having couldn't get an AR-15, so he's like, I wrote that bill just out of nowhere. And she even said, no, you didn't. Well,
I think that's Klobuchar.
Yeah, it was. And it's so funny. He's like, I was a part of that. I was a part of this. I'm the only one. And then I think one of the questions is like, Joe, why do you think that you can, pull this country, out of the whatever, or just something like.
Well, because damn it, Scott, if he can single-handedly end women's suffrage, he can get it done.
And that's the thing. Is his answer to the question about basically how are you going to be a successful president? How are you going to? Because I'm the only one that has done it. Like, oh my God. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and he was also like really writing the things that Obama got done. Like, Obama had diplomacy with whoever, and he's like, so I'm an international diplomat. It's like, well, weren't you back at the White House? Like, well, Obama was out doing his stuff with other presidents. Yeah, but I'm going to take credit for it because I was on his ticket. And it's like, slow down, buddy. I don't know if he's just, and I hate to like be ageist or something. Does he just think we're that stupid, or is he just that like getting up there in age and honestly doesn't remember what his role was on all these issues?
Honestly, I think it's definitely going to be the latter. I don't know if you've even just watched him talk lately, but he starts just spurting out random sentence fragments that don't even make sense. They've even told him to like stop, like, hey, your time's up. He's like, well, stop. Why should I stop? Nobody else has to stop because you're derailing right now. You're not making any sense at all.
They're doing you a favor, buddy.
Yeah. Sit the fuck down and go have some soup, okay? Because you need to relax. Put your blanket on, sit in your lazy boy. It's time to go ahead and enjoy your golden years. Oh, just so you know, T-Mobile wants to let me know that my bill's available now for me to pay, which is interesting.
Oh, that's fantastic. I always love to get that notification.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
So,
oh my.
So, just a fun fact of the day. I don't know if you realize this or not. I was just curious, and so I started Googling on the internet and whatever just to find the answer because I love to Google it. And did you know that Donald Trump and Bill Clinton are the exact same age?
Get the fuck out of here. I did not know that.
For real. They're both 73.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is a fact, guys, because I looked it up like 2 days ago. So,
it's interesting because old Bill looked great when he entered office age-wise, but by the time he was out, he's done. I mean, that happens to a lot of presidents with the stress and everything. But I would have to say, if I've seen recent pictures of Bill versus Trump may look better for his age.
Well, it's hard to say because of the spray tan. It's really hard to say.
Like,
For real, dude.
what was I telling my wife the other day? I was like, I don't know. He's 73 years old. What the fuck is he doing with the tan shit? I mean, he doesn't even look good. It's not like he has a good complexion like Bob over here or anything like that. It really just looks like he's kind of making an old catcher's mitt look a little bit more orange and glowing.
Well, he's just re-oiling the mitt. That's you got to keep those things oiled out, buddy.
You got to, man. But yeah, it's literally like putting a cherry on a piece of shit at this point. It's kind of entertaining, but at the same time, it's like, what's the point? But
yeah,
again,
I don't know, man. There's something to be said about the vanity that goes along with it, right? It's something about the vanity and the narcissism that he feels the need at 73 to try to like compete with other 73-year-olds for like sexual prowess. Like, guys, that's not who the youngins are looking to like say like, look at this guy, he must be a beast in bed. No one wants to picture what he does in bed. I mean, like, clean his sheets every now and then or whatever, and not from sex. It's just
I love it because he's a 73 guy that feels the need to look like an 85-year-old guy. And you're just like, I don't know, it's just not going the right direction. Yeah, it's interesting.
Do you think he's that guy that'll like go to the bar and be like, I could pick this chick up?
Oh, dude, 100%. In fact, he would go in there and be like, hey, you want to see me grab her by the pussy? Watch this. I'll do it.
Right, I'll do it. Spray tan and all. My hair will be flopping in the wind.
It's like him. What is it? Him and Bernie Sanders both style their hair with a balloon. I think that's really what they do.
That's exactly right. That's fantastic. I don't know about you, man, but we got a late start today, and I could really go for the stiff drink.
Oh well, yeah,
coming out. But I do want to remind everyone that we do have a huge announcement coming up at the end of the show, and directly has to do with our listeners. I think you guys are going to be interested to hear it and excited to hear it, and I'll be curious to get all your feedback on it. So,
guys, this is big, and as Trump would say, this is bigly. It's huge.
It's huge.
Huge and huge and China. Huge angina. Sorry, just some more workout routines from my voice. You know what I mean?
We got to get it in there. Get it in there.
But yeah, no, big news coming up. Big news. All right, so I think we should go ahead and make ourselves a cocktail. Come back and turn it up a notch. What do you think, Bob?
I agree. We've got a big stiff truth of the day coming up that we want to talk to you guys about, or we want to talk.
It's engorged.
It is. It's a big veiny truth. Coming up after this stiff drink. And I am back 7 flights of stairs later.
Well, I was just going to say, and Bob is back from his amazing quest with Indiana Jones to go find the Holy Grail.
I found it.
You did. I could see it. Again, the skin looks phenomenal today, buddy. I'm telling you, you did find that fountain of youth. All right, Bob. So, like today, and today, unlike our other two shows, we did coordinate the stiff drink. We thought it was relevant to the topic today. Bob, do you want to go ahead and tell people what we're drinking?
We are drinking a T-virus.
Ooh, that sounds dangerous. Should I be wearing a mask?
I would like to just look at that. That's fantastic right there.
Ooh, yeah. Look at that. We both got it. And what is, I believe it is virus vodka. And then 2 ounces of virus vodka, the rest sweet tea and garnished with a lemon.
That's it. Very, very simple. Very, very stiff.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see how it goes. Oh, goddamn.
Yeah.
That's good.
It is good.
Hold on. Oh, shit, man. Oh, fuck. I'm showing flu-like symptoms. I should be wearing the mask that Bane wears on fucking Batman and shit.
Well, I was born in the dark. So, no, that's a good drink. I actually went a little bit over when I had an extra lemon. Then I squeezed that in there to give it more of a sweet tea flavor, and then still garnished it with the lemon just to get that extra. I like lemony tea. So very, very good, guys. I'll put the recipe up on the website so that you guys have this. And if you guys don't know already, thestifftruth.com is a real thing. We put all of our episodes up there. We're
really doing this.
We link all of our YouTube videos up there. We have a page that's just all of the stiff drinks that we like and the stiff drinks that we've had on the show. So anytime you guys want to check it out, go ahead.
Yeah, and they will be updated after every show, the stiff cocktails that we have and how to make them in case you are an idiot.
I feel like I'm being voluntold.
Yes, check out the site. And also, for real, give us feedback on that, too, because we want to keep dialing that in and have that be a fun experience, too. Don't we, Bob?
We do. And by no means am I a website designer, but I have thrown this one up, and it needs work, but it's got it's good points too. So please, I always appreciate your feedback. Anytime you guys want to talk shit or whatever to us, you can always hit us up on the Stiff Truth Facebook page, or you can hit us up at the YouTube comments or whatever.
Or you could just shoot us a fucking email, either Bob or Scott at thestifftruth.com. Okay,
that's true, and that's also on the website too. If you forget about that, I don't know how one would forget that, but
okay, enough plugging ourselves. Let's move on to a stiff topic, baby.
Plugging ourselves does sound like the stiff topic.
That's it. That's next week's topic, Bob.
Okay, sorry.
Oh God. All right. No teaser on that one, I guess. Fuck. Anyways, all right. So let's get right into it, Bob. Here, I'm going to tell you right now. One thing that really pisses me off. I'm going to start it with this. Some people have still, which I get it. They're just not dead yet, apparently. But there's still a big faction of people, not just in this country, but all over the world, that think marijuana has this stigma.
The
weed? Yeah, the weed, sir. The marijuana is not only bad for you, and it's a gateway drug and going to ruin your life and make you stupid and kill brain cells, which actually has been debunked hardcore, but that it is just so dangerous, and if you do it, you're a piece of shit. You're a criminal if you do it. And the other thing is, what I really can't stand too is people that bash marijuana use and bash everything about it, even the purposes of plastic, that can be made from hemp now, and all these other paper and all these other things, fuel that burns cleaner. With all that being said, you still have people that still think, what do? Do you smoke a bowl and just numb out and forget about everything? I was like, that's not how marijuana works. You obviously have never smoked marijuana, and you're fucking ignorant about it. And two, you're talking out of your ass, which makes sense if you're ignorant about it too. But that kind of upsets me. I'm going to start right there.
By you, he means the general you. He doesn't actually mean me.
Oh, I was pointing at you too, wasn't I?
It felt that way.
No, that's one thing, but then you flip the fucking side of that, and let's talk about it. And you know what? We're going to sound like total hypocrites for a minute here, but alcohol, right? If you compare the legality and the stigma or non-stigma or celebration, hence, of alcohol, it's really mind-boggling that we have a celebration of alcohol society in our culture and a huge stigma and condemning of people that use marijuana. Bob, before I get too excited about it, why don't you just go ahead and take over for a minute, okay?
Well, true, and you need a chance to drink that drink down a little bit.
Oh, too, so. God. Getting the T virus has never felt smoother.
I actually did a research paper on this in college about...
Oh, shit, you did research? Next topic.
I know. Obviously, it was before this show, right? So, and what I was really comparing to wasn't like the moral aspects or religious beliefs or anything. It was just kind of a black and white thing. And what I really dug down into was, death rates, and I compared it, of course, to alcohol, right? But I wasn't comparing it into as, people should drink or they should smoke weed. It wasn't that sort of a comparison. What I was really comparing it to was the prohibition of marijuana, right? So with any sort of prohibition, and the most glaring one obviously was in the 20s with alcohol. Was it the 20s? Was it 30s? It doesn't really matter. My great grandmother would know. Anyway, so back with the prohibition of alcohol, right? The part that drove everyone crazy and that pushed alcohol to be legalized again was the violence and the black market that was associated with the prohibition. Because it was prohibited, of course, then people sold it underground. And anytime you have large chunks of monies exchanging without authorities or without any sort of insight into it or transparency, then people are going to rob, people steal, kill over it. So there's always that inherent crime that comes with the black market that needs to be eradicated. And so with marijuana specifically, since I don't believe there's ever been anyone that's OD'd on marijuana.
No,
right?
Just specifically from marijuana by itself, I have to say absolutely not. I would say there's people that have perished that have had marijuana in their system, but it was not the cause of their death.
And that's really tough too, because they test from like a month away, so who knows actually what was really happening.
And it's slightly unfair from that kind of standpoint too, that marijuana is the least dangerous drug when they test for drug testing, but it's the one that will stay in your system for the longest. Whereas if you're blowing lines of coke all day or shooting fucking smack, hey, 3 to 5 days, you're good, man.
Right. So as far as marijuana goes, there's an opportunity that's being missed with obviously the revenue that we need to bring in. We always need to maximize our revenue with taxation, especially on, frivolous, unnecessary products like this. Alcohol gets taxed crazy. And then all that money goes wherever the hell it goes, right? And then, subsidizing
Bloomberg's pocket.
Sure. but beyond all of that, then so why are we not using it? So you know a little bit about this because you live in Colorado, where they are taxing the shit out of weed, and even still, people are like, well, that makes it too expensive to buy. Well, no, that's not true, because what it does is it creates competition. Then people find cheaper ways to make it and drives costs down, and the standard business model of anything on the free market, right?
Yeah, I was just about to say, you sound like a free market advocate.
Hey, let's not get into that now. That's another stiff truth for another stiff day.
No, Bob, you're 100% on the money right there. I mean, one thing that, and it really upset me, like I'm just kind of branching off from what we're going to talk about here, and we'll circle back. It upsets me talking to younger kids that didn't grow up in the 90s or 80s. I had a kid, it's probably early 20s or something like that, a few years back, and it was just after, it went recreational here in Colorado. And I was telling him how stoked I was, and how happy I was to pay the tax. First and foremost, it didn't make it more expensive just because of what you said. The quality was driven up, and the price actually went down from when it used to be black market, simply because there was competition. And if you're selling eighths of weed for $60 and the guy right next to you is selling the same quality for $50, you're going to go ahead and sell it for $45, and so on and so forth. So that didn't even happen. But this kid told me straight up, he's like, dude, there's no way I'm paying that fucking tax for weed. I was like, you know why? Because you're a fucking little shit that doesn't feel grateful for being able to purchase marijuana in a fucking store.
Right.
We had to go in an alleyway and fucking do one of these numbers and fucking drop some shit on the floor, have the guy drop the stuff, go pick it up, hush, hush, and potentially go to jail. Now I'm so grateful. I love paying the tax. Not only do I know this money, because I'm a philanthropist, I know, and I buy more weed than I should just to make sure it goes to the kids, right?
It's all about the kids. So we appreciate your
kids.
Philanthropy on that.
It's all about the kids, guys. I can't say that enough, guys. Put yourselves aside. It's not about me getting high. It's about the kids. But anyways, like I was saying, this guy was so adamant about not paying the tax because he felt like he was getting raped, on it. But it just really showed me this guy has no frame of reference. He doesn't understand. He wasn't there. He doesn't appreciate it. And it's just like, now it's too much, because I don't get that.
Well, I would even go a little bit farther to say that he doesn't understand the social contract, right? That tax represents saving money as opposed to housing all these people in jail, having maximum security facilities upkeep to take care of them, hiring guards, hiring cooks, feeding them, clothing them, all this other stuff, when you could have just paid, 20% more on your weed. It just doesn't make sense. So again, with the social contract, that's a very millennial me attitude.
We just lost all of our listenership.
I know, but it's very
true. Did we just call out millennials? Oh shit. Well, that was a fun podcast. See you guys later.
Right now, it's our whole audience there. But for real though,
did we just go down in views on YouTube? How did that?
How do you get negative views? Wow.
All right. Back to what you're saying, Bob.
So
Millennials.
anyway, that's just a real short-sighted view, and to not like think critically about something before you just go spouting off the mouth. Just like oozes immaturity, right? So
really
how
does.
can someone be taken seriously if they're just going to sound like us? A podcast.
Look, if you're gonna fucking just spout off nonsense, at least get a nice forum like we have here.
That's right.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but since we've been raking in the dough from the first 2 episodes, we both now have upgraded our studios. It's great.
Yeah. No. Welcome to the club. I think.
I even got a T-shirt now, Bob. See that?
I do. Let's show them off here. So that's good. Custom made T-shirts. So we're legit now because we have merch.
We got merch, baby. Now,
if you guys are interested in merch, I guess shoot us a comment. We don't have any formal channel of merch right now, so
and guys,
I guess we could get creative.
We don't have a lot of resources, so if you want some merch, send us the T-shirt, and we'll print. And we'll throw a print on it and send it back. Well, no, actually, if you can handle the shipping both ways, that'd be awesome.
That's right.
Anyways, back to what we're saying. Stiff it up. Now, okay. So we talked about that. We already know people are stupid for not paying the taxes and how good marijuana is done from a monetary standpoint in my state. There's been a lot of other states, too, that are also enjoying extreme heavy amounts of tax revenue off of people doing what they're already going to do, and they're already not hurting anybody doing it. So it's kind of like, hey, as the government, why are we not tapping into this main line right now in every single state? But that's okay. It's really not what I want to talk about explicitly about the entire thing. I do want to focus on the flip side of things because I think both you and I know, and I think a lot of our listeners are in the know and are oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry. Again, Bob just wanted to make sure what I was saying was okay with baby Jesus because he always has to check up there and double.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's very distracting, Bob. It's very distracting. It's almost like you're not even listening to me anymore. You're like,
well, I just wanted to let you know that it's 1:30 p.m. in Rio Rancho, New Mexico right now, and the sun is bright and sunny.
That's good stuff. Well, just to let you know, in case anybody actually cares at all, it's the same time. It's always going to be the same time in Denver because we're both in the mountain time zone, so I may as well not highlight that. But it is 41 degrees here, and we're going to have a chance of snow this evening.
Oh, man, we're in the 60s here. No snow for us.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah,
Anyways.
Anyway, but I have sand in my backyard, so.
Well, yeah, and you got to get the the pesticides out. I love that.
So I really just keep derailing you here. Go ahead, please.
No,
please.
You're fine. No, but what I want to really talk about here, and I really want to highlight this, is I think it's really fucked up, and I think it needs to be pointed out that there's so many people still that, let's just face it, yes, marijuana bad. I'm going to dull it down for everybody here. Marijuana bad. Alcohol, sure, why not? It's fine. Just be careful. Be responsible, right? It's okay. Now, with that being said, there is an exact opposite of stigma and celebration for alcohol use in this country. I mean, it goes all the way back to when you're a teenager and you have a fake ID. That's socially acceptable, dude. Nobody gets upset at anybody or thinks really anything badly about people that have fake IDs. It's expected. Absolutely. How are you getting the bar, man? You better have a fake, dude. You know what I mean? It's just out of the gate. And then, parties with people, and we could go way down this rabbit hole, but people, getting trashed at party, doing keg stands, doing unmentionable things in very low, let's just call it, what do you call when you date rape somebody? What would you call that?
Terrible?
Did I just laugh at that? Oh my God. But you know what I mean? It's just, it's a horrible person, right? And these kind of things are, they're okay when alcohol is involved to a certain extent, right? Like your buddies or whatever. You slept with the chick.
It's the get out of jail. It's the excuse.
Yeah, it's on both ends of the table. The chick, if I was like, well, I didn't really want to sleep with that guy, but I had a lot of drinks. One thing led to another, and then blah blah blah. All of a sudden, dick in my butt. Here we go. But other flip side is, yeah, dude. I mean, it's totally socially acceptable for somebody to get shit faced and do something completely fucking stupid. And it's just like, dude, I was just trash. You know what I mean? Or you may have a little bit of a problem, dude, but it was still pretty funny. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. I mean, what do you think about that kind of celebration that we have and basically looking the other way to where if it was really, I think, any other substance that was involved, I don't think it would be nearly as celebrated at all. I think it'd be stigmatized as well.
Well, it's a culture thing. So, like, a lot of the world looks down on America for our binge drinking habits to begin with, right? And then we don't look down on ourselves for our binge drinking habits. We kind of, like you said, we kind of celebrate it, and you can see that's evident by the kids that are going off, that are in high school and they're going to college, and kind of their attitudes towards it. Those attitudes are inherited from a culture in America. They're not just formed because, well, I'm 18 years old now, so I'm going to go get trashed and black out, and God knows what I'm going to do, because that doesn't happen as a human thing. That doesn't happen everywhere in the world. I mean, some people look down on it, and you've even heard when our buddy Blair got back, and they said that there was an attitude that he specifically saw against people like looking down on them and getting tanked in the bar, like fucking stupid Americans.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And that is the thing.
Excess.
We don't look at ourselves like that. You know, we're just like, oh, it'll be okay. You'll grow out of it. Well, you'll grow out of it, or you'll be like a fucking social problem for the rest of us to pick the tab up for the rest of your life until you die from sclerosis in your 40s.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, and you make a great point there too. Is not only is alcohol extremely, and here we are having a podcast that's partially based off of having alcoholic beverages. And again, that's why I said we're kind of hypocritical here, but not really, in the sense that, you know, it's so bad for your health when you do it habitually. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about the guys that are in rehab that are drinking a handle a day in the morning, or they can't even fucking function. They get the DTs and shit like that. It's pathetic, man. In fact, when I was in rehab, one thing that I noticed, bro, and it was fucking hands down this way, is heroin addict, fucking coke, crack addicts, whatever, marijuana addicts. By the way, there is no marijuana addicts in fucking rehab, so everybody marinate on that one for a minute while I keep talking.
So Half-Baked was completely wrong.
Exactly. But everybody in there has bad problems. Everybody in there is hooked on something that's going to throw them into some nasty withdrawals, especially the heroin addicts and the alcoholics. But dude, the alcoholics, hands down, if you're in rehab for alcohol and it's getting that serious, you're almost on death's door in a lot of cases, dude. When I was in detox, which is like the first 10 days of getting clean and everything, there was multiple people in the middle of the night that were being pulled out on stretchers by the ambulance, and they were all the alcoholic guys that were fucking going into convulsions and DTing, and a couple of those guys died. I mean, literally, it's so crazy how much destruction alcohol can do on your body if you let it get that far out of hand, which is pretty much how everybody else that does the other drugs, they do them on this kind of frequency, right? People that smoke weed do it on a frequency that's daily usually, right? People that do coke or whatever, they do it daily. If you're doing that much daily alcohol, dude, I've seen a guy, I swear to God, I called him Father Time in rehab because he was literally 41 years old, a year older than you, Bob, right? Or 2 years, year and a half.
But he didn't have the skin glow.
No, in fact, not only did he have the, maybe it's Maybelline, kind of skin, but this guy looked like fucking Father Time. He looked like he was literally in his 80s, 90s. He had a walker.
So
and he was.
Did he look like the baseball mitt that hadn't been getting oiled?
It was basically Trump before he started tanning. I knew it was something weird when he said he was going to be real big one day and watch out. But yeah, no, seriously. But again, long, short, it's horrible for your body at that level especially. And I'm not going to say it's good for you either to do all the time, but it's crazy to me how, again, knowing this and seeing these statistics, I know all these health professionals have to be seeing these statistics. I think they got to be overwhelmingly more dangerous in the alcohol realm than almost any other drug. Yet here we are, where not only we're celebrating kids being able to go out and party and again get shit-faced, fucking crash cars, have, blurred out blacked out sex or whatever they're doing, and it's all okay at the end of the day, right? Everything is fine because, like you said, is alcohol, and alcohol is our culture. Let's just face it, right? When we're watching a football game and the Bud Light ad comes on the commercial, this is just the way things are, right? And what are people always doing on alcohol commercials, Bob?
Drinking?
It's not a trick question.
I don't know, man.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there at all, Bob, please. But no, they're celebrating. They're having a good time. They're playing volleyball. They're doing outrageously fun, crazy, thrill-seeking things, and it's only because they're drinking my brand of alcohol.
I get you. They actually are never drinking. I forgot about that. They can only hold them in their hand They can't
Right.
actually take a drink in the commercial. And you're right. They always have like half naked, model type chicks with them. They have like the fancy cars all parked all around. Just like if you drink Corona, your life will end up being like a playboy on a beach in a Caribbean island. And so it's like, no, your life will end up wearing a mask in like Eastern Asia.
I was about to say, was that subconscious, Bob, that you used Corona as the example of the beer?
I don't know. I just started thinking about the Tony Romo commercials. I don't
Oh, well, I mean, total break from what we're talking about here, but Tony Romo is one damn good commentator. I believe he's going to get the biggest contract from any ex-NFL player going into commentating.
17 mil a year.
Yeah, dude, that's outrageous.
That's more than he got when he was playing.
Can I go ahead and say this, knowing that you're a Cowboys fan, but still, I think that his second career is more successful and more dialed in than his first.
Well, they don't have playoffs in commentating, so he
Could
gets
you
to
imagine?
commentate no matter what.
Like throughout every regular season game, he's totally on point. He's fucking so fluid, so articulate. And then it's like, all right, Tony, this is a big one here. This is the commentating playoffs, and he chokes up. He can't even do it. He runs out crying. Go sit in the car. I don't know.
He just fumbles the mic. I'm just kidding.
I was like, dude, it's actually attached to your ear. You don't have to do that,
No,
Tony.
in fact, he's probably the best quarterback to the Cowboys, like stat wise. He never really had a great team, but regardless of any of that, just his commentating, he's one of the best commentators and one of the students of the game, and able to express himself live and articulate that to people, especially people that don't understand football quite at the level that he does.
Mm-hmm.
He can explain it to the layperson on the fly like that, and he's just it's a gift. He's an incredible commentator. Good for him. Good for him.
agree.
17 mil. Sorry to digress into sports, guys. We don't really talk about sports a whole lot here, even though we love our sports.
We do. In fact, I'm surprised we don't talk about sports more, but maybe it's because football season's over. You know what I mean? That's kind of our go-to, but, whatever. Anyways, back to what I was saying. By the way, I did fact check, just for everybody out there. Prohibition was from 1920 to 1933. Okay?
Oh, look, so I was pretty close.
Yeah, 20s and 30s were right. They were a little bit of both. Well, all of the 20s, a little bit of the 30s.
Okay, good. And then when the Great Depression happened, they're like, we got to let people drink. They're fucking
I was like, guys, look, all right, everything just kind of shit canned everywhere. Please go get a glass of something and numb the fuck out, right? Seriously. Getting back to what I was saying here, though, what the fuck was I saying?
You were talking about weed, man.
Oh, that's right. We're talking about weed and alcohol, actually, right?
Yeah, you're the mid rant on alcohol. In fact,
I was in mid rant
about how it's the most terrible addiction, and the people in rehab that are addicted to alcohol have a worse time than everyone else.
It's horrible for you. But beyond that, you take all of that stuff.
Active listening.
Yes, you are. You are great, sir. You're Yes. Yeah. But no, back to it though. Seriously, I'm getting derailed every 5 seconds, but that's okay. This is why it's fun to chat with you, because at the end of the day, alcohol is extremely bad for you and your body if you do it a lot. And I have to say that because we're going to continue to drink on the show and enjoy it. But it's also extremely dangerous from a safety point of view or a domestic point of view. We haven't even touched on that. How many people do you know? And I know some jack motherfucking ass is going to try to correct me on this one, but I'm still going to fight it all day long. How many people that you know have crashed their car and killed a family of 4 after smoking a joint?
Well, I don't know any people that's crashed their car and killed a family of 4 after drinking either. I've heard of them, right? But the answer, of course, that you're trying to get is 0. There's been 0 people that kill families going around because they are smoking too much weed.
Yeah, and I think my point is here, just to back up and not make it so pointed, is that intoxication, if you want to call it that, on marijuana. Even though I have a hard time calling people that are high on marijuana, I have a hard time saying they're intoxicated. You know what I mean? I just do out of the gate, because intoxication to me kind of equates not being able to control yourself or understand things properly or be able to have dexterity and things like that, which I think I completely do after I smoke some weed. However, just the alcohol related deaths from alcohol and marijuana, and what you can directly point of the root cause of alcohol is mind blowing, right? I mean, there's states like New Mexico, especially, that Gordon House and shit like that did kill an entire family, on Christmas Eve or something like that 15 years ago. Please plaque check that. It might even be longer, but whatever. There's so many alcohol related deaths and injuries just in a car that I think it's enough for people to fucking pump the brakes on the celebration a little bit and then kind of reassess marijuana and kind of, take the stats, just blanket, and then kind of do a little critical thinking. And I know that's hard. I know that's hard for a lot of people out there, probably not our listeners, but to do critical thinking is a little bit of a kind of a weird, outdated thing, if you ask me.
Only in America, baby, to quote Don King.
Yeah, baby.
No, I agree. And honestly, I just read a book, because I read. And
well, it was the Bernstein Bears. They just came out with a new book, so I mean, it's a great one. Don't get me wrong.
It was the Teddy Ruxpin. I played the tape, dude.
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Yes. So and Teddy Ruxpin said that that alcohol it just kind of went scientific with the brain, and really this was talking to strangers from Malcolm Gladwell. And he mentions in there just kind of the what physically happens to your brain on alcohol, and then what happens to your brain at like 1.5%. Is that right? 1.5%. When your memory just kind of shuts off. That's the blackout range, right? Well, there's not a blackout range for weed. It doesn't affect your brain that way. And I'd be curious to know if anyone's done any studies to observe what really happens to the brain when people get like completely fucking shitty baked. But I know one thing, those shitty baked people aren't getting off their ass to go like kill a family in their car. They're going to probably not even go anywhere and just use Uber Eats and order something.
We'll plug for Uber Eats. If you're stoned and you want to get some food. No, I'm looking at something right now. I want to do a little bit of facting here. Alcohol-related deaths. It actually ranks. It's the third it's the third biggest for preventable deaths in the United States.
Lung cancer the first?
I would imagine so. I'm not looking at that space.
Probably heart disease.
Now you're making me fucking research even more.
I'm going to say it's heart disease because I'm pretty sure heart disease is the biggest killer in America.
Yeah, I would say that too, but this says preventable. So heart disease is not always preventable. But it's still an estimated 88,000 people, this is a weird number. Think about it, alcohol, 62,000 men, only 26,000 women. Again, the celebration of alcohol definitely leans toward males. But yeah, died from alcohol-related causes annually.
Do you think that's an ego thing? Do you think it's because men are like, I can handle it, I can drive this car, I've only had like a six-pack? You're like, yeah, but that was pints of whiskey.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a whole other topic of conversation, obviously, too, is the dynamics and then just how men and women, boys and girls, and how they're raised in their expectations, because you're absolutely right. Telling a guy that he can't handle his booze is going to hit him right in the balls. You know what I mean? A lot of guys are not going to take that very nicely, whereas if you tell a chick, hey, you can't handle your alcohol, yeah, that's fine. Next question. Right. It's not a big deal. So, yeah, no, I think there's a lot of in that. But interestingly enough, the first is tobacco, and the second is poor diet and physical inactivity. Now, if that doesn't blow you away, that the top three, one of them in the middle is a fucking no-brainer, right? Eat right and be healthy and exercise, and the other two are cigarettes and alcohol.
So I'm going to go get a pack of cigarettes and booze and grab a Big Mac. I'll be back.
Well, you might roll the dice there, Bobby. Roll the dice and see what happens, man.
But don't worry, because I'm not going to work out today, so it's okay.
You got him nailed, man. You're on your way to it. Hey, one thing I always love about you, Bob, is your motivation and your drive towards your goals. You know what I mean? So if you want to put yourself in the grave, I think you can get there pretty quick, man. You've got that kind of motivation.
It's a grind, man. It's a series of baby steps.
Absolutely, man. But again, I guess just circling back in general here, it really just torques me off. It upsets me that there's still so much stigma on just marijuana in general, dude. It makes me really, really angry that there's still so many ignorant people out there. And let's face it, just to backtrack a little bit here, if you don't smoke weed, that's fine. I've got no problem with that. Kudos to you, man. I'm not saying everybody needs to smoke weed or fucking use CBD or a combination or rub topical fucking CBD oil on your asshole. I don't think that's a necessity for life. It's a preference for a lot of people, which is fine, and so is alcohol. But I still find it very, very, very irritating that so many people will literally make the connection and categorize Somebody that smokes marijuana or uses marijuana products with dirtbag, loser,
Well,
never going to be anything in life.
honestly,
Or
man,
shit.
I could care less about tying people to the stigmas and tying people to whatever. I don't care. If you guys want to drink or you want to lick assholes or you want to... That's the second show in a row I mentioned that, so...
Well, apparently Bernie Sanders does it a lot too. From our last show,
So,
I did fact check that.
if you, I don't really care what people do. Just be safe about it. But the thing I do care about is like the fiscal responsibility, right? I feel that we're losing revenue, the taxable revenue. When I go to Colorado and I'm driving up to Durango. As soon as I don't even have to look for the sign that says you're in Colorado. I can literally feel the road go from ka-tunk, 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 ka-tunk. Oh, we must be in Colorado. The roads are good. You know what I mean? I would imagine the schools have greatly improved over the last couple of years. Like, that's what I'm wanting. That's what I'm missing. And that's what I think that everyone needs to pull out of it is, why are we passing up on lost revenue?
By the way, what he just said there is very important. Everybody needs to pull out. Please be safe. No, Bob, you're absolutely right, though. I make the same comment. I drive down to Albuquerque all the time, and it's so funny. I don't have to look at signs either. It's the same kind of thing. It's like my car's like humming along, and then all of a sudden, as I get past Raton Pass and everything's like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, man? But yeah, I mean, and the other thing, and you're right, another thing, I can say it because my daughter, before this year, and I think it's like this in numerous states now. I did not remember this as a kid because, honestly, I don't remember shit from when I was 5-year-old besides picking my nose and it tasting good. But besides that, free full-day kindergarten is not really a thing. It's only usually free for a half a day in a lot of states. And our mayor, because of the influx of revenue that we're getting from taxes from marijuana sales, said, hey, I would like to make sure every public school kid in Colorado has the opportunity to have free full-day kindergarten. When my daughter, started school, she was the first one to get to experience a full free day kindergarten. So it's pretty fucking amazing, just that right there, because instead of having to put your kid in daycare for half the day or an after-school program where they don't do a fucking thing, now all these kids are enjoying a full day of learning and activities and social development thanks to marijuana revenue.
Yeah, so if I can have better roads and better schools off of taxing burnouts, I'm okay with that.
There you go again with your fucking stigma, man.
No, but for real, it's just, whatever drives the revenue. It's just me. I'm an overall big fiscal picture kind of a guy. Let's address problems at the root cause. Let's spend less money. Let's work efficiently. Oh, that was fantastic. So I don't really care, and I think what gets pushed in all this anti-marijuana propaganda that gets out there is just always individual levels, right? I remember the commercials when we were kids. It was like, oh, my brother started smoking weed, now he's a burnout and living in the basement and all of this, and it's just that's asinine. Why would we care about people? People are burnouts that don't smoke weed.
Oh my God!
You don't have to smoke weed to be a lazy piece of shit that doesn't contribute to society. I mean, shit. I got family members that are lazy pieces of shit that don't contribute and they don't smoke weed or do shit.
By the way, thanks for listening. No, you're 100%. And you know what marijuana does sometimes? Marijuana actually pulls out a little highlighter and it highlights those people that are already pieces of shit burnouts before they started smoking weed, because now they have an excuse to be a burnout piece of shit and just blame it on the weed. I've seen that happen a lot. And boy, that's something that kind of pisses me off more than anybody. Somebody that actually perpetuates and highlights and underlines the fucking stereotype of a pothead. You're like, Jesus Christ, dude, put your words together, get the dick out of your mouth and form real sentences, get a fucking job, get off the couch, do something, because you are literally what people say potheads are.
We both know the exact name that we're thinking of, but we're not going to say it because then we'd have to edit it out. So let's just go on past that.
I don't know what you're talking about, Bobby. Very objective here.
Yes, that's right. It's just all a huge overview, nothing personal. So...
Hey, Bob, can you tell us what God is telling you right now?
God is telling me that we've covered everything that we want to talk about today.
Ooh, that's nice. Well,
wait. Not everything. We have teased it a couple of times, folks. that we had a huge announcement coming up for our listeners at the end of the show. And that is not untrue. We do have a huge announcement. We've been pondering it. We've been thinking about it. You have something to add?
And the huge announcement will be on episode 4. How's that for teasing?
So that's like not even teasing. That's just like getting all ready and then just like going home.
Yeah, I totally blue balled everybody there. Sorry.
So we do have a big announcement, and we've been thinking about what we're going to call our listeners. What do we call you, lovely folks that take the time out of your day during your commute, most likely, to listen to us? And we've come up with a good name. Scotty, do you want to tell everyone what that name's going to be?
Yes, our listeners now are dubbed the Stiffies.
Awkward silence. So
That's
yes,
okay. I was waiting for some kind of applause.
Our Stiffies.
Yes, and we can have fun with this. We can call you big Stiffies if you're insecure. We can call you little Stiffies if it sounds cute and fun. We can call you all of our little Stiffies. It doesn't matter, but we like it.
The big Stiffies are going to be the ones that we let moderate the comments on our YouTube channel. Those will be the big Stiffies, and maybe like have a hand in the Facebook moderation too.
It's almost like you guys are like bishops or cardinals,
but that like adult humans.
Oh my goodness! And if you're Catholic out there, it's okay. So is my family. We still love you all.
It's okay. I will go and admit my sins to Scott later on. He'll forgive me. So we're going to be okay. So, yes, everyone is going to be the Stiffies. So when we mention to our Stiffies, you guys will know what the hell we're talking about. But, yes, different people call their, different podcasts and different radio personalities call their people one thing or another. But we want to call ours our Stiffies.
Yes,
so
the Stiffies.
Please comment if you have a better idea than that, but we won't really care because we've already made this decision. So.
No, I think it's great, Bob, because if you talk about it and the way, I'm an old school, I won't say current, but I'm old school wrestling fan, right? And when we started talking about what we're going to call, people that listen to the show and our glorious listeners, the Stiffies, it really made me think about Hulk Hogan and his Hulkamaniacs. I enjoyed in the 80s and early 90s being a Hulkamaniac, and when he would talk, come on, when he would talk and get everybody on, it's like, oh, you little Hulkamaniacs out there, you get everybody all fired up, and you felt like a part of the collective right there of what is the just power and awesomeness of, at that time, the best wrestler in the world. And I think that's what really got me fired up about just the name in general for our listeners. Now, what about you, though? Because mine was all about Hulk Hogan for some reason, which I'm not sure why.
Well, I was more of a Ultimate Warrior guy myself, but
well, don't get into it, because that's actually my favorite wrestler, but I don't believe he had a following of names.
He didn't. He wasn't near as charismatic. He let his wrestling do the talking. He settled it in the ring.
This is true. This is another topic for us to talk about here.
So, no, I agree. I just, everyone needs to, every audience needs their calling. So that, the Stiffies was it for me. So I like it. I mean, we're a little bit of truth, stiff truth. We're a little bit of stiff dick and fart joke. So it makes sense that we have a little bit of innuendo in our name. We have a little bit of innuendo in our listeners. So thanks, everyone, to all you Stiffies out there that are listening to us. And thanks for all of your time. We're going to have another show coming up. We'll see you next week.
And please, everybody, don't forget to listen, subscribe, follow, rate, review on all the bullshit platforms out there.
Goodbye, everyone.
Later.